Under normal circumstances, I would probably add some balsamic vinegar to this, but just because I'm doing meal prep and trying to be conscious of my sugar intake, I'm going to avoid the balsamic. And let's go ahead. We're going to cut these in half, first of all, you guys. So I'm going to just get these halved, if you can see that. And then once I have them, I'm going to put them, I guess it doesn't matter right now because, and see, I see ugly parts like this one. Can you see? I'm going to take that off because we're visual creatures, right? You eat with your eyes before you ever taste something, and that part is just not going to work for me. So we're going to go ahead and just take that off right here. I mean, if you don't have an aversion to it, then you can leave it, but it's coming up off of mine, okay? You too, trying to hide over here. So anyhow, we're going to do some roasted Brussels sprouts. I also have some pasta that I made yesterday that I didn't finish, so I'm probably going to have that with the Brussels sprouts and maybe a salad. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what's been going on with me and my new journey of eating one meal a day, right? Because some very interesting things have happened, and I've sort of touched on them in previous videos, but I figured I would go, and this is what they look like once you have them, by the way. You can add brown sugar to this. I'm going to do some onion powder, some some onion powder, some garlic powder, some kosher salt, and some olive oil. So we're going to do these, you know, pretty clean for the most part. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit just about the changes that I've been seeing, right, as a result of not just eating one meal a day, but also eating cleaner, right? Because if you're like me, I feel like New Edition made the song Candy Girl specifically for me because I love a sweet treat, okay? And that's been one of my biggest struggles in my entire life, right? Because, see, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any illicit drugs of any kind. You know, we like to live an overall healthy lifestyle, but I think a lot of people underestimate sugar addiction, right? And while I don't know if I would necessarily characterize it as an addiction, it's one of those things that has always been a constant in my life, and I've never really considered the reasons why. So, in going or embarking on this one meal a day journey, somehow sugar, I don't know if it was a conscious choice or not, I honestly can't remember, and on day 14 whether or not it was a conscious choice, but somehow me eating sugar just went away, right? I stopped eating cakes because pastries are my go-to sweet, by the way. I stopped eating the sweets and began just eating cleaner. Now, what I was noticing, and let me know if this is TMI for you guys, this is another one of those ugly pieces that we have to throw away. Can you see that? Yeah. But anyway, what I began to notice is that prior to OMAD, I would have to tinkle constantly. I mean, every couple of minutes, I was going to having to tinkle. After I stopped eating the sugar and spiking my blood sugar levels, that went away. My internal organs weren't having to do the work that they were having to do before. And it made me have an awakening in the sense of like, damn, I didn't realize I was really, you know, putting them to work like that, right? You know, when you're healthy, you take for granted being healthy until you're not healthy, right? And then all of a sudden when you're not healthy, then it's like, okay, I need to fix these things. But why not prevent the things from going wrong before they happen? Like, you know, I had a health complication about a year or so ago. I'm happy to say that I came out of it with a clean bill of health. Everything is great on the up and up. But it did force me to start to take a look at my own mortality and ask myself some of those more complicated questions about how I've been treating my body, how I've been taking it for granted. And in my family, everyone who has passed away due to some sort of health-related complication, right? I'm talking about, like, you know, you can die, you know, based on mayhem. You know, some sort of accident can happen to you, but nothing like that has happened to my family. It's been high blood pressure, it's been diabetes, it's been brain aneurysms, things like that. You know, things that in many instances, if you do the work and do your due diligence, you may be able to stave off or prevent altogether. And so it caused me to start asking myself some questions about how I'm treating my body. And even though the health complication was like a year ago, it wasn't until recently that I just really decided to take my health into my own hands. And I don't know, you know, I'm one of those people who is always thinking, and sometimes for the better and sometimes for the, not for the better. But I was just recently having just an internal dialogue with myself about what I look like when I saw myself in the mirror, right? And really taking a long, hard look and saying, wait a minute, wait a minute, you know better than this, right? That was really the conversation I started having with myself, like, and I'll be honest with you guys, let me show you a little bit. Can you, like, that's my tummy, which really isn't there, to be honest with you, but it's more there than I would like it to be. And I needed to, when I was looking in that mirror, I said to myself, you need to take control of yourself, because yeah, it's not out of control, but it's not far from being out of control if you don't stop, if you don't get a hold of it. And it was in that moment that I said to myself, okay, we're going to take our health seriously. And we're not going to do this as like some 1 week, 2 week, thing. This is going to be an overall lifestyle change, right? That's not to say that I'm completely eliminating sweets from, my food vocabulary, if you will. But it's to say that I'm definitely going to be more cognizant about how I consume sugar, when I consume sugar, if I consume sugar. Because I don't think that people really understand the impact of sugar on their bodies. And now that I do, and I do from a very superficial way, right? This isn't diabetes or something getting a hold of me. This is simply a result of me seeing physiologically how my body is not needing to purge itself on a constant basis, just simply based on my dietary changes. And so, yeah, I'm going to be a better steward of the body that I've been blessed with, and making sure that I treat it with the deference that it deserves, and try to preserve it for as long as I possibly can. And on occasion, if I want some sugar, if I want a piece of cake, I'm going to have a piece of cake. But cake can't play the prominent role in my life that it once did. I really have to take hold of it and do better. So I just wanted to say that. So if you're out there, right, and you're contemplating doing OMAD, let me tell you some of the benefits. The benefits of OMAD is, well, the con of OMAD is you only eat once a day, right? But the benefit of OMAD is when you eat once a day, you can pretty much eat whatever you want to eat within reason, okay? Within reason. Don't do too much, okay? Because you can still overeat on OMAD. But within reason, you can pretty much eat whatever you want to eat. And also, as a result of eating OMAD, over time, and this has happened for me, your stomach is going to shrink. So even when you want to overeat, you're not going to be able to overeat. So I just think for me, this has been a lifestyle change, and one that I will sustain throughout the rest of my life. I don't see this as being something that I'm doing for the short term. And maybe instead of doing it 7 days a week, maybe I'll do it 4 out of the 7 days a week. Maybe I'll do it 3 out of the 4. It really just depends on where I am in terms of my my health and my weight. But if you're contemplating doing OMAD, look into it. Get a dietitian if you deem that necessary. But it's your body, it's your life. You really have to make a vested interest in making sure that you treat it better. All right, let me go ahead and get these Brussels sprouts seasoned up and in the oven, and then I will show you guys the final results once they come out of the oven. Let me season them up while I have you guys on camera, by the way. So I'm going to add some red pepper, because we like a kick around here. If you don't like a kick, I don't know that you would ever want to eat at my house. We like a kick, and that kick also helps to burn calories. So I'm going to sprinkle some of that on there. I'm going to do some onion powder. I think I'm going to wait and add the garlic powder later, just because garlic burns as it, it gets bitter as it cooks or burns. And so I want to wait a little bit. So we're going to add a lot of onion powder to this, okay? Because this is one of those guilt-free seasonings. Now, you can do more stuff on this if you wanted to. You can do some chili powder, maybe some cumin. If you're not averse to sugar, maybe you can add some brown sugar. You can add that balsamic vinegar. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of salt, like so, like such. Okay, salt has been added. And then I'm going to add some extra virgin olive oil, if you guys can see that. Okay, so I'm going to add some olive oil to this. A healthy amount. Boom. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and toss these. Oven is already preheated and going. Maybe instead of doing this, maybe you can do some Italian dressing or something on this as a seasoning. The sky's the limit. But if you want to add garlic, I would highly, highly, highly impress upon you to wait. We found one that isn't halved. So let's get this one halved. I would highly, highly impress upon you to wait until maybe it's midway through the cooking process before you add your garlic, just so it doesn't turn bitter on you. Okay? All right, everything looks nice and coated. Found another one that's not halved. Go ahead and get this one cut in half. Boom, trying to hide out on us. All right, that looks delicious. Let's go ahead. Found another one that's not cut in half. Why didn't you guys help me with this? And by the way, when I eat my meal today, I'm probably going to consume a large portion of Brussels sprouts, which is going to help me to get full off of the good stuff before I go in and start enjoying, you know, the pasta and all of that stuff. So that's the plan. All right, I'm going to turn most of these over. I found another one that's not halved. Okay, let's go ahead and get that one turned over. And then into the oven, found another one. It's y'all fault, talking to y'all. Okay, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. One more. Is this one half? Okay. I need to do another go around just to make sure because it feels like I missed a lot of these. That's half. Okay, now that I'm looking for them, they're not showing up. When I'm not looking for them, they're everywhere. And if you don't like Brussels sprouts, maybe you can come out, put some sriracha on these things when they come out. I'm talking about a good time and enjoy yourself. All right, get that one turned over. Get that one turned over. Boom, 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 and boom, and boom. Get this one cut in half, and I think we're good. We're golden now. All right, into the oven we go, and I will show you guys the finished product once it comes out. Here we have the finished product. Nice and crispy. Can you hear it? All right, we're just gonna go ahead and get these put away in the containers.